was a video recently on Chadwick Model Railway about station announcements, and although at first I thought it was a bit unnecessary, I decided to have a look at how that would work within JMRI. Obviously within JMRI, a number of my trains run as part of the automation, and I just thought it might actually be quite simple to add a station announcement. With having a terminus station, it doesn't make sense with the trains running back and forward to include the time in the station announcement. Otherwise, I'd have to create numerous sound files for different times as the trains run back and forward. So essentially the wording on the announcement doesn't include the time, but will include the destination and the interim stations.
The next train to depart from Platform 1 is the regional railway service to Holyhead, calling at Chester, Shotton, Prestatyn, Rhyl, Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, Bangor and Holyhead. Platform 1 for the regional railway service to Holyhead.
Now, I'm not going to cover how to create the sound file because Chadwick Model Railway's video covers that. But what I did want to mention is that I have a terminus station as part of my layout called Shornford. And when thinking about station announcements, I had to kind of think about, well, where exactly will my layout be set? Now, I always knew it was kind of linked around this area with the West Coast Main Line and a route to North Wales. And obviously you have Hertford and Winsford here, and it's called Shornford. But I just needed to know so that the station announcements could cover the stations that would be along the route. So I downloaded a map of the railway network in the UK, and I've just placed on roughly where it is, so it allows me to determine what the interim stations are between the destinations.
The next train to depart from Platform 1 is the regional railway service to Holyhead, calling at Chester, Shotton, Prestatyn, Rhyl, Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, Bangor and Holyhead.
So what does that look like in JMRI? Well, I just set up a Logix script that has sound, and on there, when a sensor is set active, in this case platform 1 to return loop for the 158, as long as there's no sound currently streaming, so check that the sensor is active, sound isn't streaming, then it will play a sound file, and you can just select the sound file under audio. So how is that sound sensor set active? I just have it on the transit here, so when the train comes into platform 1, when it's reached its destination, I'll just have it so that when the destination is then platform 1 to return loop and it's going to load the next transit, I set the sound sensor to active, and then the sound will play before the train changes the transit over to its next destination.
The next train to depart from platform 2 is the regional railway service to Llandudno, calling at Chester, Prestatyn, Rhyl, Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, Deganwy and Llandudno. Platform 2 for the regional railway service to Llandudno. The next train to depart from platform 5 is the regional railway service to Crewe, calling at Helsby, Chester and Crewe. Platform 5 for the regional railway service to Crewe. The next train to depart from platform 1 is the Arriva Trains Wales service to Wrexham General, calling at Helsby, Chester and Wrexham General. Platform 1 for the Arriva Trains Wales service to Wrexham General.
Another thought that I had with it being a terminus station is that I didn't think there'd be any announcements for train arrivals. So the train arrival platform would be displayed on a board somewhere within the station, but they wouldn't announce the arrivals unless there was a platform change. So the way the automation works is that the trains will run to a specific platform, but if that platform is taken by another train, it will allocate it to another. So it did create the opportunity for me to create one more station announcement. I'll show you that now. So the 158 that's coming in now would normally be allocated to platform 1. But because I've parked a 47 in platform 1, it's now just been reallocated
This
to
is a
platform
platform alteration. The regional railway service from Holyhead will now arrive on platform 2. Platform 2 for the arrival of the regional railway service from Holyhead. This is a platform alteration. The Arriva Trains Wales service from Wrexham General will now arrive on platform 1. Platform 1 for the arrival of the Arriva Trains Wales service from Wrexham General.
So that quick demonstration just shows what you can do. It's a little bit of fun, but I do think it adds a little bit of value to the layout.
The next train to depart from Platform 1 is the regional railway service to Holyhead, calling at Chester, Shotton, Prestatyn, Rhyl, Colwyn Bay, Llandudno Junction, Bangor and Holyhead. Platform 1 for the regional railway service to Holyhead. The next train to depart from Platform 2 is the Arriva Trains Wales service to Wrexham General, calling at Helsby, Chester and Wrexham General. Platform 2 for the Arriva Trains Wales service to Wrexham General.
I have been working on a number of other things, particularly around platform allocation, which I know has been an issue in the past. So it will allocate trains to vacant platforms automatically. And also just improving the ability for me to move trains from one place to another by just clicking a button and it will load the transit for that. I may look to cover that in a future video. Thanks for watching.
The next train to depart from Platform 2 is the Arriva Trains Wales service to Wrexham General, calling at Helsby, Chester and Wrexham General. Platform 2 for the Arriva Trains Wales service to Wrexham General. The next train to depart from platform 4 is the intercity service to Glasgow Central, calling at Warrington Bank Quay, Wigan North Western, Preston, Lancaster, Carlisle, Motherwell and Glasgow Central. Platform 4 for the intercity service to Glasgow Central. The next train to depart from platform 5 is the regional railway service to Crewe, calling at Helsby, Chester and Crewe. Platform 5 for the regional railway service to Crewe.